All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. And your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson those will satisfying to the Lord's elect. This is, let's see. What? It says, Pelosi says police may arrest federal agents who violate California law. San Francisco, let me see, district attorney said in an interview that she came up with the strategy after seeing federal agents repeatedly roughing up people in Los Angeles and Chicago. It wouldn't let me get into the article, but it was basically saying that that you can. Pelosi says that I'm gonna have to look that up somewhere else because I'm not giving them any information. Is it all right if I stay here, sir? Okay. Quiet as a whisper. German firm launches campaign after Lyft was used in. Who cares? I was watching the talk. What's his name? The House of the Speaker for the House, and they were going into why the government shut down for the 23rd day in a row, and they were saying how some Kate something said something Shalom Malaki Hawa Bahashim Yahushua Barakatah. Saying Kate something said that your family shall be hungry, and they're using this as leverage. Okay, but you know it makes you think like. The scriptures that popped in my head is how the Lord is destroying the council. Okay, every day they meet for 23 days. They've been coming together, coming up with no solution. Okay, so that's the Lord destroying the council. They would have came up. You know what? Let's work on this, and you do this, and we'll negotiate somewhere in the middle. There ain't no more of that, man. There ain't no more of that. And who's gonna pay for it? As a matter of fact, our governor, the governor of Massachusetts. Just announced that your SNAP benefits are going to be, I think sometime next week, your SNAP benefits are going to be affected. She said she was going to, our governor's Maura Healey in Massachusetts, if you don't know that. And she said that she's going to write Donald Duck to see if he's going to reinstate it for just while this government's being shut down. But the most the government has ever been shut down was 35 days, but now we're on day 23, so you know, and it looks like it's going to continue. And if you were listening to the Speaker of the House this morning, he was telling you that the traffic controllers of the airport, he was saying that they might have to stop closing down flights because of this. So there goes your transportation. And that's that day, maybe next week, your SNAP benefits gonna snap. It's funny that they call it SNAP because it's literally gonna snap. Ain't gonna be no more benefits for you. And then as we go down, let's say day 36, I bet you it starts working on your school systems. They might have to start shutting down your schools too. All that federal funding, all that money, wherever that money was going, making things flourish, that's gonna be cut off. All right, you might have to, you know, we're gonna go into uncharted territory after day 35. As a matter of fact, I should see what happened last year. I don't remember what happened last time because none of these things really affected us. You know, especially, I mean, they affected us, but it was the vid kind of overshadowed everything it's like a blur when the vid came. You know, everything was so much chaos. You know, who knows what the hell was going on with the government? You were more concerned about your life during that time. Especially like this time when these stores start to close too. Okay, EBT is going to be, that's just one part of the aspect of it. There's literally going to be no foods in your stores. Okay, that's what the Bible talks about. It's going to be a time of trouble, man. And if you ain't preparing yourself for that, then you're gonna fail it during that time. All right, so this is the things that we seeing in the world. And this is what the Lord's been telling us about. And, you know, it's a blessing to be here in this time so we can see it happen with our own eyes. But let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 5. And, I'll just start from the top. And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife, take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thine head and upon thy beard. Then take thee balances to weigh and divide the hair. So Yahweh is telling Ezekiel to shave off his head and shave off his beard. Okay? Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city, when the days of the siege are fulfilled, and thou shalt take a third part and smite about it with a knife, and a third part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them. So he's going to take 1/3 of it, he's going to burn, 1/3 of it, he's going to beat it up and chop it up with a knife, and another third he's going to blow it in the wind. Now this already was fulfilled, but it's good to read it because it gives you the mindset of the Lord. Now he's talking about Israelites, all right? So the Lord is notorious for whipping you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans' asses when you were going off in the past. So maybe, when you read it, you should put yourself in that mindset that that's you, and that the Lord is chopping you up and blowing some of y'all in the wind and burning some of y'all with fire. Because in this time, according to Jeremiah, the 15th chapter, he got the same type of judgments. He got everyone reserved for death to death, captivity to the captivity, famine to the famine, and the dogs to tear. That's another way he's scattering a third of y'all, or a fourth of y'all in that case. Okay, Ezekiel 5:3, thou shalt also take thereof a few in number and bind them in thy skirts. Then take of them again and cast them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire, for thereof shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel. Okay, and this is going into the staff of bread once we get in there, but it came with afflictions, man. Okay, not everybody's going to make it through these afflictions. Some of y'all are giving up now. Y'all putting up Instagram posts saying what y'all going to do if this actually happens. So your mindset's already wired to go crazy and wild and being unstable. Okay, and if it's on the internet and got millions of views, other people are agreeing with the same thing. But your wicked ass been getting EBT since who? God knows how long. Some of y'all tell your kids not to go get a job because that's going to mess up your SNAP benefits. So you kept them in this low state. Okay, so when we read Isaiah the 32nd chapter, it says that you women are going to lament for the teacher. Your children are too, because they got the mindset of a woman. A lot of you men out there, mindset of women. Okay, you're like a woman, man. Okay, you're going to be a lot of men going to be lamenting for the teats too. Because a lot of them, they live with their wife, they live with their girl. Okay, they're not leaders in their household. Okay, so you're gonna be lamenting too. She's gonna be looking at you like, damn, nigga, I was taking care of you. The hell, man. You're supposed to be a man in the house, so you're gonna be lamenting too, because she's gonna put hell on you in that time. She's gonna be putting a bunch of hell on you. She don't take accountability for her actions, so she's gonna put it all on you. Ezekiel 5:4. Ezekiel 5:5, thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, power, this is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are round about her. And she have changed my judgments into wickedness more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that are round about her. For they have refused my judgments and my statutes, they have not walked in them. So he gave the law, statutes, and commandments to the Israelites, okay? So they didn't walk in them. And that's why they're going to witness the judgments that are coming to them, more specifically, okay? And he's going to be sending those same judgments again to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in this time. Hence why he calls it Jacob's trouble. Okay, these judgments, the sword is for you. All right? But even though everyone else, they're going to be affected in this time too because of their wickedness against the nation of Israel. Okay, but now he's sending his word out. He's waking up his elect men to go out there and make their calling and election sure before the evil day, like it tells you to do. Remember that Creator in the days of your youth. That's what this, before the evil day, man. This is the time to remember your Creator. This ain't the time to be all worldly like everybody else, man. Going day to day, doing what being of the world, man. Now you got to put your job off. You got to put your family off. You got to put your wife off. You got to put your mother off. You got to put all that away and serve the Lord. Even though nobody's going to tell you got to do that. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But you need to hear it verbatim sometimes, man. You got to go do that. You got to go make your call on an election sure and not be like everybody else. Because the majority of these people, according to 2 Ezra, the 5th chapter, they're going to get put to death, man. They're going to get put to death. And at this point, oh well, the Lord already told them. He gave the apostles and elders, they're constantly doing videos. How long are they going to speak? You think they're just going to keep speaking forever? And then, nah, man, this place is almost done. All right? Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, because ye multiplied more than the nations that are round about you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. You know, he said Jerusalem. You see, you know where Jerusalem is at. Okay, you got the land of Moab. You got the Philistines. You got Syria. You got Edom. All right, Ammon. All right, so you had all Jerusalem in the midst of all these different nations, man. And before that, he put you right in the land of Egypt. That's where you learn how to be a damn demon. That's why you came out creating a calf. Okay, you learn that shit from the heathen. That's what happens when you're amongst these people, man. You learn their ways. Now it's time to depart from learning their ways and come seeking the Lord again. Because those ways lead to your death. Okay? Scriptures tell you not to follow a multitude to do evil. The majority of people, they do evil. They're wicked. They're out of their minds. They don't have the Lord dwelling with them, dealing with them. All right? Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 8. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power, behold, I am against thee, and will execute judgments in the midst of thee in the sight of the nations. So he's going to destroy you in the midst of the nations. And just like he started right now. He started here in Boston, Massachusetts with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, sending ICE agents towards y'all. But that's going to escalate to the point where everyone's going to be affected. EBT, that affects everybody. That's not just for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. There's people who fought for this country that use EBT. Okay? And they're not getting it. And you think you're going to go into the store and walk out with food that you didn't pay for and think that people ain't going to do something to you? The scriptures tell you that thou shalt not steal. That's even when you're hungry, man. Okay? So judgment's going to be coming to you. You're going to be made an example of. You might get shot trying to run out, pull out your little pea shooter. You get blown away by an off-duty cop sitting in the parking lot waiting for you, you Negro women to come out acting a damn fool so they can put your ass to death. That nasty-ass weave that's on your head that you ain't changed in months, changing your fucking up your mindset, man. Okay? It wasn't nobody else's fault for you to have a bunch of kids during this time, man. You should have been reading your Bible. You should have been humble. But the Lord gonna humble you with these judgments. Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 9. And I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more of the like, because of all thine abominations. Yeah, he gonna bust your ass, man. Okay? Now this is Ezekiel was after the Babylonians, okay? Or he was exiled with the. Let me see. I don't want to confuse him with someone else, but I believe he was exiled. He was during that time. Was Ezekiel after the Babylonian? Was he a Babylonian exile? I messed that all up. Let's see what's coming up. Yes, the prophet Ezekiel was a Babylonian exile, as he was a priest who lived in Jerusalem and was taken into captivity by the Babylonians in 597 BC. His prophetic ministry and the prophecies in the book of Ezekiel were written during the time he was exiled in Babylon. Okay, so now that we know he was in exile in Babylon, we're exiled in Babylon too. We prophesying too. And these days are gonna come to pass too. Okay, in a different way. Some of y'all are set to get burnt with fire because y'all gonna be taking the MOTB. Some of y'all gonna get that. Y'all gonna go into captivity. You're gonna get tortured to death. Okay. In the beast to tear. A lot of things gonna be going on out here, and everyone got their lot that they gotta fulfill, whether it be judgment or whether it be salvation. Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 10. Therefore the fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds. So you're going to be eating your kids, man. Your son shall eat the fathers. Okay? And just like it happened in Babylon. All right? So the same thing going to happen. So he's probably prophesying Ezekiel the 5th chapter. In Ezekiel chapter 5, was he prophesying about a time after the Babylonian exile? Look at this context. No, chapter 5 is not about the time after the Babylonian exile. It prophesied the events of the Babylonian siege and the destruction of Jerusalem, which had not yet occurred when Ezekiel was writing. Ezekiel delivered this prophecy while in exile, warning the exiles about the imminent destruction of Jerusalem and the scattering of its people. Okay. The prophecy was fulfilled during. So he did this in 580. So this is before the Babylonians went over there, and that's what I was thinking, because that's what y'all were doing. When you read the book of Lamentations, that's talking about the Babylonian, the fall of Jerusalem, the Lamentations. But those Lamentations are coming back again because he's gonna break your staff of bread. All right, and those same people who are disobedient, being more abominable than the other nations. That's what Ezekiel's prophesying against. That's what we're prophesying against. Y'all are gonna be doing these things again, you know, and we can see it. Not too long ago, there was a TikTok video. They used to say, I'm so hungry I can eat my kids, man. And that's spiritual, man. They were showing you that, you know, in all actuality, that actually happened. And that time is going to happen again. That's coming to pass again. That's Jacob's trouble, okay? Daniel 12:1, okay? Or a time that has never been since the time we were a nation. So it's going to be worse than that. And there's plenty of examples in the Bible that talk about cannibalism. All right, you might not think you'd do it because you're living in a functioning society, but when your water and your food is cut off, try fasting for 3 days without food and water. I don't recommend you do it. I've done it before, and you feel like a damn zombie, man. You feel it. You feel it. Your mind starts telling you. You start hearing little shit like, yeah, man, you'll eat somebody, man. Some of you are a lot weaker than others. So maybe day 2, you might start thinking, shit, I can't go another day like this. Okay, I'm so weak. And that's gonna make you make the wrong decision, man. You might eat something that's contaminated, because it talks about the plagues of Egypt, where the water was turned into blood. So that's contaminated water. Okay, and that's the worst way to go. Okay, and eating human meat ain't the way to go either. Your hands start to shake and shit. You start to giggle uncontrollably. Okay, or you can overheat and die from whatever is in that meat. Okay, which will fry your brain, and then you'll be you might just turn into look like a damn zombie, man. Who knows? Who knows, man? And that's the judgments of the Lord. And you might start with your kid, because you're less likely to get it from your own flesh and blood. But then after you do that, you already did it once, so you might do it to somebody else. Okay? That's what these movies like The Road is about. The Book of Eli. They went into this old woman's house he was running, and they invited him in. She goes to the back of the house. They see a bunch of graveyards and shit. And she's like, I just found some meat. Let's eat. Old white lady. I always show you an Edomite doing that, because they could be the first ones. They already look at you like food. They've been looked at you like food. All Edomites. Every single one of them. They know their history better than you do. Okay? So it's going to be a great feast for Esau, because you love him. So you're going to think it's safe to go to him. You're going to blow your brains out. You're going to feed everybody that's over there. And you're gonna tell them it's meatballs, okay? Don't worry about it. Where'd you get meatballs out six months into a famine? Don't worry about it. I had it stored. How'd you preserve this? Where'd you put it? Don't worry about it, man. Just eat. And that's what they're going to do. All right? For all your wickedness. Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 11. Wherefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, power, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary, which is the temple, with all thy detestable things, and with all thine abominations, therefore will I also diminish thee. Neither shall my eyes spare, neither will I have any pity. He won't have any pity on you. Why should he? Why should he, man? He set you up, decked you out, gold, had the heathens bringing you gifts, treating you good. He gave you, put all your enemies underneath your feet. Now they're all over and above you. How you doing today? Good morning. Okay. Put your enemies underneath your feet. Now you the basest nation. You're supposed to be exalted according to Deuteronomy 7:6 above all nations, and now you at the bottom in the mercy of the heathen. Okay, that's a disgraceful thing. That's a disgrace to be in that position. Hey, Shalom Malak, the water for the precepts. Okay, 2nd Esdras 8 and 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time that shall dwell in the world. The latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And pride, according to Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, is the beginning of departing from the Lord. Okay, so you departed from the Lord, man. Your pride has deceived you, just like Esau. Edom, the so-called white man, his pride deceived him. Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from God and his heart is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Okay, so that's why you get destroyed. 2nd Esdras 8 and 51. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory of such that be like thee. Exactly, you got to seek out the glory of such that be like thee. Those who search the scriptures, and want to operate according to the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, and just be obedient, be in a repentant state, contrite spirit. Isaiah, 2nd Esdras 8, verse 52. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, that's talking about the kingdom. Rest is allowed in the kingdom, man, and in this word too. It starts with this word. All right. This is what's supposed to be comforting you all the way up until the point where we get redeemed. 2nd Esdras 8, verse, perfect goodness and wisdom. Okay, going back into this knowledge. 2nd Esdras 8, verse 53. The root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness, and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. And that's when we get these new bodies. Okay, that's when our sin's going to be forgiven. Right now, our sin is not ultimately forgiven because we don't know who the elect is. But we will know when we're on those chariots. Okay, and then we ain't going to have any more sin to worry about. 2nd Esdras 8, verse 54. Sorrows are past, and in the end is showed the treasure of immortality. Yeah, in the end is show the treasure of immortality. And we got to endure unto that point when we get changed according to 2 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, 15 through 50. Let me grab that real quick, because that's the race, man. We got to get to the destination. And if you think your destination is living comfortable here in Babylon, have fun with that. There's nothing more that can be said to you anymore if you believe that. But you still continue to go to these churches, the harlot houses. 1 Corinthians 15, not second. There's no 2 Corinthians 15. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood can inherit the kingdom of the heavenly Father, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Yeah, you can't make a clean thing out of an unclean. So this is why you need to be changed. Your heart needs to be changed. Okay, the Lord ain't dealing with you coming in the flesh, coming into the kingdom. All right. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Okay, we're going to be changed into immortal. We're going to get the new body. Okay, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. Okay, just changed into immortality. Very simple. It's so simple the Lord could change you like that. He wants to put your soul through this affliction so you appreciate it. All right? But this corruptible, which is this body, these bodies that we are in, must put on incorruption, which are the new bodies that we're going to be in. And this mortal must put on immortality. Okay, and that's what Malak is talking about. All right? Talking about immortality. A lot of y'all ain't talking about that, man. Because you don't see it happening. You think death is like the end all be all, and it's not. Life is the end all be all. That's what's going into everlasting. Death is going to get conquered. Okay? 1 Corinthians 15, verse 54, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Okay, so that's life destroying death. Okay, but in this world, death is stronger than life because of wickedness. Okay. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 55, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Can you imagine that? O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Showing you that life is stronger than death. Okay, but it starts with Yahweh Shai. That's why we hasten in the day for Yahweh Shai to return. Okay, but in this time, you put someone to death, you think you got the victory. Nope. It's not the victory. Getting the victory, you got to be an Israelite. You got to get on those chariots. You got to get changed by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, in the twinkling of an eye. That's the victory. You put someone to death here, man, he ain't really dead like you think he is, man. He's dead, the body's dead, but his spirit's still living. The Lord is gonna have both spirit and your body to be immortal. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 57. But thanks be to the Heavenly Father, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. That's right, he's given us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, the so-called white man is not coming to give you no victory. He's coming to give you the defeat. Okay, you go to him for anything. You lost the battle. You don't get what's going on here. All right, you lost. You're not going to be stable. You're going to be destroyed. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, which are the elect, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Okay, so that's what Malak is talking about. 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, verse 55, and therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. Yeah, don't worry about the rest of these people who are going to die, who ain't working for the Lord. They chose that, man. They despised, they loathed this law, like it tells you in the next chapter. Okay? 2nd Esdras 8, verse 56, for when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. That's right, they forsook his ways, man. They ain't just, they forsook them, okay? All right? They didn't even consider, like, let me at least look into it to see if these things are true. They didn't even do that, man. They forsook them, okay? There's nothing wrong with going to find out if these things are true, like the Church of Berea. Let me find it. Even though Paul was teaching them, they still went and searched for themselves, searched the scriptures daily to find out if these things are true. You claim to be holier than thou, and you don't know none of these scriptures. You don't even know there's an apocrypha. Okay? You read the whole Bible. You don't even know the whole Bible. And then you'll deny the apocrypha. That's how y'all are. No. Never even read it before. Don't know nothing about the book of Maccabees. Don't understand what the Israelites went through during the Hellenization period. But then you want to tell somebody to love. We all love. Get the hell out of here, man. That's why a lot of y'all are just reprobate, man. But ultimately, it's because the Lord rejected you. Now, a lot of us, before we came to this truth, we were going to the church. We were doing that too. But we didn't really feel fulfilled going there. It was just a waste of time. And Esau, and you know what? That's a win for Esau, if you really think about it. All the times you went to church, you weren't glorifying your power. You were glorifying his. So that was a win for him. He kept you in that docile state. But now, when you come up out of that, hey, you got to seek the Lord 10 times more, man. All right? 2nd Esdras 8, verse 57. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous. That's right. That's the Israelites. And said in their heart that there is no God, yea, that in that knowing they must die. That's right. The righteous are mostly his prophets. Okay, you Israelites have done that. Trodden down his righteous, man. All right, kill the prophets. And yeah, they trotting them down. They mock the messengers. Okay, they come. They didn't want to hear it. They try to store up your pure mind by bringing you back into remembrance. You know, and they mocked at it, man. They mocked them. Okay, and that's why you got to die. 2 Ezra 6 verse 22. Oh, is that it on 2 Ezra 8 verse 58? Yep, 2 Ezra 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. You know, I love that precept, man. Suddenly shall they be found empty. They don't see, it starts with this is the Lord slowly doing it to wake you up, but nope. But suddenly your stores are going to be empty, man. To the point where they're not even going to deliver the food over there anymore. All right? They're going to get order out of you to take the MOTB, which you're not preparing for. You know? So a lot of y'all are going to be faced with a lot of calamities in the near future. And if you do got kids and babies and stuff, if you ain't making your calling and election sure, the Lord knows why you do what you do. You know, if you truly believe that a time like this was coming, I'll be going hard for the Lord. If you believe that. If not, you think this is like a get together, you just get together and Bible study on the street. It's not that, man. This is where your faith is being your faith, the test, the trial, the fiery trial of your faith, man. See where you truly lie with the Lord. You really believe, or if you're doing this for some other reason. That affliction is gonna show in the future, man. It don't matter how much time you got in this, how little time you got in this, man. It's either you got the gift that the Lord gave you and you're gonna endure and hold it, or you're gonna lose it. All right? We're gonna see in this time. 2 Ezra 6 verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. That's right. The trumpet is being sounded, man. We blowing the trumpet. Okay? But y'all ain't taking heed to it. But the more and more we come out here and teach the word, the more eventually you're going to hear it, man. Eventually you're going to hear it. Hopefully it's not too late. All right? Because we're going to stop talking. The trumpet is blown. Let me grab that in the book of Amos. Shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Amos chapter 3. Amos chapter 3. I'll start at the top. Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he have no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Okay, so this is the Lord's being the answer is no. Okay, a lion's not gonna roar if you don't have any prey. Okay, or you can't take up a snare and you didn't take up nothing at all. Bird can't get caught in something that wasn't put there. So the trumpet being blown in the city and the people not being afraid is the same thing, because you should be afraid when the trumpet blows. Okay, and just like he said, evil in the city and the Lord have not done it, because the Lord does all this evil. He does evil and he does good. Okay, he does everything. He does all these things. Isaiah 45. This book of Isaiah 45 in verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay, so he does it all. All right, so when he creates evil in the city, when he closes your storehouses, when he cuts off your SNAP benefits, when he breaks your staff of bread, that's the Lord doing these things. All right, he does all these things, and he blows the trumpet. He's sending his men out here to blow the trumpet. All right. Second Ezra 6, verse 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another, like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. That's right, friends fighting against each other like enemies. Okay, not on no digital Facebook posts like you women like to do, man. Mostly over things like resources. Okay, borrowed money. You know, I did this for you. You didn't. Now I need help, and you ain't picking up your phone. You know, I need someone to rest my head. I need to do this. I need to do that. You don't really have any friends in this world, man. The only friend you got is your Howard Shai, honestly. That's the only one you could 100% trust in. Other than that, anybody will flake on you, man. So why not develop that relationship that you have with him? All right. Anybody else, unless the Lord deal with some, you know, get some true brothers that's true to you. But that's very rare, man. Oh, that's very rare, man. There's only 144,000 in a large multitude, and we don't know how the Lord's gonna do these things. All right. We don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's gonna do it. Okay. But if you think that you got friends, we'll see during this adversity. That's when you're going to learn who your friend is. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. So the earth's going to stand in fear because you ain't going to know what to do. You're not going to know where to go, who to trust. You know, you're going to be you're not going to know what to do. That's that not being stable in that time. You're more prone to making the wrong decisions. Okay, when the Lord just told you to be still. Okay? The Lord's going to create a way for you. All right? And if not, guess what? You deserve death anyways. All right? You deserve it anyways. So if the Lord, whatever your lot is, man, you got to take it cheerfully. Just know that the Lord is fighting for the nation of Israel. All right? And if you're praying to another God, you're praying to Esau, he ain't going to help you. You're going to make the wrong decision, of course. You're gonna go to him for help, and he's gonna destroy your ass, man. And you ask for it. You're gonna ask him to destroy you. Okay? The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So the streams of the fountain shall stand still. You know, that makes me think about this word, man. There's gonna be a famine of this word. Okay, we're not gonna be right now, you know, that water's going out, but eventually it's gonna come to an end. Okay, and it also talks about a collapse in society. When the waters, it's not going to be flowing anymore. It's going to stand still, man. Things that you covet after, that's going to stop, man. You know, government assistance, the flow of that's going to stop. You know, traffic, all of this shit, that's going to stop, man. Okay, that's the waters shall stand still, and in 3 hours shall not run. That's your society collapsing. Second Ezra 6, verse 25. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape. Whosoever remaineth. Meaning you survive all these calamities. Okay, majority of them are going to be the elect. Because according to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, a lot of y'all are going to be getting sent out to war. Okay, he's kicking it off in Ukraine right now. He's talking shit. The Colombian president is threatening your president. Venezuela, he's still attacking those ships over there. All right. You see what's going on with the ceasefire in Gaza? It's escalating. There was no ceasefire. The whole time he's talking all this peace in the Middle East, and it was never a ceasefire established. He's signing papers. People talking about giving him the Nobel Peace Prize. There was never any peace established there. They were fighting even before he signed whatever he signed, and while he was signing it, and now they're fighting even more. And he already sent 200 U.S. troops over there, which is going to start to fulfill prophecy, bringing that northern nation to the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So there's already a small military there. And don't forget about the Taliban. Okay, the Taliban is also back on their feet. said he want to go and go grab some air base over there. So he's sending out his military to here, there, and over here, and over there, in multiple different places, just like the Roman Empire before. And that's another indication of their fall. Inflation was another indication of their fall. Okay, blaming the Israelites, another indication of the fall of the Roman Empire. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 25. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, which is your age. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. When you go up in this chapter, it talks about the end of Esau's world. Just like in Matthew 24, when the disciples asked the Lord, when shall the end come? Okay, this is the end of his age, man. The only age that's going to last after this is Jerusalem, it's Israel. Okay, the world without end. Isaiah 45 verse 17. All right. And Israel always knew there was a time that was coming. That's why y'all don't believe. If you don't think you're Israel, then you're pretty much a homeborn slave. You think you're gonna go back into slavery, and you probably are. You might be a heathen if you believe that. Isaiah 45 verse 17. But Israel shall be shaved. Actually, let me start up a little bit. Isaiah 45. I'll start at I'll start at 15. Verily thou art a God that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. That's right, he hid himself for a long time. He ain't give us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He was letting us be destroyed. He ain't save us. So that's like him hiding himself. He was letting these heathen do whatever the hell they wanted to do to us. But now he showed himself to a few faithful men, which are the elect and the remnant. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. Okay, so you're going to be ashamed and confounded, man, believing in something else other than Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. And when you read up on that, he was talking about the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, these different nations that made different gods. They're going to be ashamed and confounded, just like the modern day Egyptians. Okay, and you Ethiopians shall be slain with the sword too. Okay, 2nd Esdras. That's done with that. Let me grab that and Salakia. 1st Maccabees 1 verse 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. 1st Maccabees 1 verse 21. Entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. That's right, Malak. Stealing our treasures out of our sanctuary, out of our temple. Antiochus Epiphanes, which means God manifests. When you look into that, it said that he had a nickname called Antiochus Epime, which means the madman. He was a madman, and that's what Esau's gonna do too. He's gonna come in like a madman, sparing none. 1st Maccabees 1 verse 22. And the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crown and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. That's right, he took everything out of the temple. Okay, and that's why the duck is trying to rebuild the Ark of Titus, because that's what the Romans did too. Okay, so they were always coming up against the temple of the Lord. And that's why he's going to be coming up against you, trying to put that MOTB inside you, because you're the temple now. 1st Maccabees 1 verse 23. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. That's right. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And that's another symbolic of you. Okay, he took y'all. All right, Esau did. You're really the Lord's inheritance, his jewels that this devil has taken. Well, ultimately, he gave it to him according to Isaiah, the 47th chapter. 1st Maccabees 1 verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. That's the so-called white man. He made a great massacre. you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, he's gonna come and do the same thing again. Okay? After he left Egypt. Okay? He's coming from the north, got mad because of the south. The Romans drew a line with Antiochus Epiphanes, and he took it out on y'all. That's what he likes to do, just like when what's his name got shot in his neck. He tried to take it out on a bunch of death threats went to the HBCUs, man. There was no so-called black, Latino, Native American. That was a whole white-only, white-on-white crime. That's what that was. And that's what he does. He tries to take it out on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because he don't take any accountability for his actions, man. He always trying to include you into something so he can just take it out on y'all. Because that's the Lord's whipping stick. Okay? First Maccabees 1 verse 25. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, and the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. That's right. The beauty of women was changed, man. That's the beginning, fulfilling Isaiah the 3rd chapter. You know, that the baldness of your head, man, it's everything that you've been through. That's kind of sort of the beginning of it. Because after that, you know, the Lord put his ass to death. But we had to deal with the Romans, man. What happened? They came to sack our temple in 70 AD. Then you went to inner parts of Africa and mixed with the damn with these damn Africans, man. Lost your hair. Okay. And you know, because I forgot that lady's name that washed the feet of Yahushai's feet. She had to have long hair to wash his feet. Okay? So that's going to show you that you women had hair. You know, beautiful hair. That was your glory. Even the heathen, according to Judith, they were willing, she stopped the whole war how beautiful she was. Okay? But when your nation gets taken down, now look at you, man. Now you're so hardened, you look like men now. A lot of y'all look like men. Y'all are more you're not feminine, you're more masculine now. Because you got to cope being in Esau's kingdom. Okay, but it all starts with this history. 2nd Esdras 14 verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts. Yeah, let go from the mortal thoughts. Okay. Mortal is like regular thoughts. How am I gonna eat? Where am I gonna live? How am I gonna provide for myself? Cast away the burdens of man. That's the burden of a man. Okay, how is he gonna sustain himself? Okay, put off now the weak nature. Okay, putting off the weak nature is putting off this flesh. Okay, tapping into the spirit. All right, 2nd Esdras 14 verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. The thoughts that are most heavy unto thee might be, how am I going to do this for my kids? And how am I going to pay for this, that, and the third? Okay? And haste thee to flee from these times. Yeah, haste thee to flee from these times, man. Like it tells you in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, flee out of the midst of Babylon, save every man his soul. Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Okay, you gotta read Isaiah the 40th chapter. Isaiah 40 talks about comfort Jerusalem with these words, man. All right, this is supposed to be comforting, knowing that you got a Savior that's gonna feed you, for trusting in Him and believing on Him, and not choosing the so-called white man. Seeing if you really trust in the Lord. Isaiah 40 verse 1, comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she have received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Okay, so you've already been punished. This is the time of your salvation that's coming, but you can't even rejoice in it because you don't believe. You don't believe in the times that are coming for your benefit. Okay? Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Okay, this is the salvation is nearer than we believe. Okay, we thought we were always going to be conquered by the so-called white man and all the and these different heathen nations coming over here and being ahead of us. And nah, those days are coming to an end. And that's why your government's taking away all these things from them so they can suffer just like you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Right. They shall be done hereafter, going back into Jacob's trouble. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. That's right, Malak. Okay, they get weaker through age. Okay, more the generations come to pass. I was looking at Kanye West's daughter, man. She got, I hope those ain't permanent tattoos on her face, man. But she looked like a damn demon, man. She looks like a demon now. And that's what this world will turn you into, a demon. Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 11. Wherefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh power, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things and with all thine abominations, therefore will I also diminish thee. Neither shall mine eyes spare, neither will I have any pity. And why should he? Okay, this is the time where we could have been receiving the word and everyone's not getting it. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence, and with the famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about thee. And I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. Okay, so that's what he did with the nation of Israel. He drew out a sword after them. As a matter of fact, when you read 1st Ezra, the 4th chapter, talks about how Esau helped the Babylonians, and Esau is the Lord's sword. Those who escape. Let me grab that. This devil always been a thorn in our side. And the Lord's kind of finally put his ass. Oh my God. What a demon. What a demon. You come over here and become more of a demon. Okay, where is that? 1st Ezra chapter 4. And 1st Ezra 4 verse 40. I saw that 40. 1st Ezra 4 verse 40. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness, and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. And with that he held his peace, and all the people then shouted and said, Great is the truth, and mighty above all things. Then said the king unto him, Ask what thou wilt, more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it thee, because thou art found wisest. And thou shalt sit next me, and shalt be called my cousin. So what happened here is 3 guards decided to try to show how wise they were to the king, and I believe Zerubbabel had the answer to be the wisest. Okay, and to send. Let me read that again. 1st Ezra 4 verse 43. Then said he unto the king, Remember thy vow which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom. So he was telling them to rebuild the kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Okay, so he vowed to destroy Babylon and to send them away thither, which is talking about the Persians. The Persians took down the Babylonians and helped us restore the second temple. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees. And now, O Lord the King, that this is that which I require, in which I desire of thee. So the Edomites had a part in destroying the first temple as well as the second temple. okay, which is Esau. So he hates God's chosen. He hates God's the Most High children. All right, he hates them. Ezekiel 5 and verse 13. Thus shall my anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. And they shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my fury in them. Okay, and he gonna accomplish the fury again by sending these different judgments. Okay, cutting off 2/3 of the nation of Israel, who rejected the Lord, by the way, just like it says in John 6 and 6, John 6 verse 66. Okay, they walk no more with the Lord, so that's what's gonna happen through the affliction. All right, Ezekiel 5 verse 14, moreover, I will make thee waste in a reproach among the nations that are round about thee, in the sight of all that pass by. So it shall be a reproach and a taunt, and instruction and an astonishment unto the nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgments in thee in anger and in fury and in furious rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken it. And that's what he does. Okay, that judgment starts with you. It tells you in 1 Peter 4, verse 17. He's going to start with the house of Israel, ultimately the believers, but with the Israelites first and foremost. 1 Peter 4, verse 17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? So if it begins with the believers, what about you non-believer Israelites, you non-believing Israelites? Okay. But it also starts with Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But Jacob's trouble is gonna affect everybody. But it's really for you, okay, to see how you're gonna move. Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 16, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread, just like he did with the besiegement of the Babylonians around Jerusalem. He broke your staff of bread, man. And now he's going to break your staff of bread again. And it starts with your SNAP benefits. You're going to snap that. All right? And then, just like Malak brought out with 2nd Ezra 6:22, suddenly your storehouses shall appear empty. It will suddenly be empty, man. And that's your staff of bread being broken. All right? Which is your stability. Your ability to feed yourself is going to come from the Lord. All right? Ezekiel 5, verse 17. So will I send upon you famines and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, in pestilence, and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, have spoken it. So this already came to pass during the time of Jerusalem, which is the form of Jacob's trouble, but the time that's coming is worse than what was ever before, according to Daniel 12 and 1. All right, so this time's going to be worse than these times. Mention it. All right, it's going to be worse than that. Where is that? I think it's over here. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And that's talking about the elect. Okay, but there's going to be a time of trouble that has never been before. Okay, and it's already started. Okay, and you're way more comfortable than before. And you rely on the heathen way more than before. Because of these curses, you've been suffering the curses for a very long time now. Jeremiah chapter 30. In verse 1, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord Yahweh, saying, thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book, For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Yeah, so where is Israel and Judah? Where's the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom being brought back in Israel? They're not there. That's why you only have people saying they're Judah, they're Levi, they're Benji. But where is the northern kingdom at? For lo, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity, meaning he's going to restore us from captivity, of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, which is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall possess it. And they don't possess it now, so this hasn't been fulfilled. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which split after the fall of after King Solomon, okay, during the Babylonian exile or the Babylonian siege. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace, and that's what this word is about. Jacob's trouble, fear, trembling. It's not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Because everyone, imagine a man with a child, okay? She's basically saying that that's how crazy it's going to be. How if a man's going to be in pain, how much more you women, okay? Does a man travail with child like a woman, like a man with birth pains? That's what Jacob's trouble is going to be like. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Now he's talking about it. But I'm going to end it right here, Lord's will. This was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala. And the water for